Good evening, all, and hello to all my dear friends. Hope you are doing wonderful. Today, I am going to talk about a little bit about staying closer to nature and why we should consider staying closer to nature. Right, my dear friend. In many instances, I come across people. I come across many people who suggests me to stay at the heart of the city, right, the heart of the city. So the heart, they say that when I stay in you should stay in the heart of the city because you get everything at stone throw distance. You get everything at in your in your area, right? For example, you don't have to go much, you don't have to wander much. For example, if you want to go to a shopping mall, right, it's just next to you, right, next to you. In 2 minutes or in 1 minute you can go to a shopping mall, right, and you can purchase lots of items, right. In If you want to go to a restaurant, you should stay in such a location in a center of the city where immediately you get access to restaurant, so that you can go into restaurant and you can have a lavish meal over there and spend a lot of money, right, my dear friend. Yeah. And we all know how restaurants are in the Indian cities, right? But yeah, but we are staying in the center of the city, right. And then if you stay closer to center of the city, your shopping malls, your markets, for example, markets are closer, your banks are closer, right? Banks are very close, right, to you. You're staying close to banks. You have access to all the amenities, like for example, hospitals are closer. And your cinema halls are closer, right? You can go to cinema halls as well. Then theaters, cinema halls, and for example, any place of interest or amusement, they are closer to you, right? So all the things like any educational institutions, might be schools and colleges, might be, so everything is very very convenient to go. And that's why I prefer center of the city, I prefer heart of the city. Many people have this viewpoint, my dear friend. But today I would like to tell you the fact. I would like to keep the fact. I would like to open the facts for you. I personally, I don't have any grudge against those people who stay in the center of the city, but I have a very few practical thoughts that in which I would like to keep in front of you. I have no qualms against those who stay there, but the fact is a fact, and we cannot shy away from it. So why? So what happens when we stay in a center of the city? What is the speciality of this, right? So if center of the city means what? Means there are lots of vehicles plying every day. Lots of vehicles in front of you. You will see lots of vehicles moving. You might be staying close to a street, right? A highway or a street or a road, main roads, right? And you will find lot of noise. And the center of the city means that place is a hustle bustle, it's full of hustle and bustle, because that's why it is the center, right? And hustle and bustle means what? Hustle bustle means there are lots of shops, there could be lots of shops, there could be lots of vehicles flying over there. What happens if there are lots of vehicles flying over there? There is there is lot of noise. First of all, the noise pollution, right? There's lots of noise because every time, every minute, you see so many vehicles coming. Okay, there is a lot of noise. Because of this noise, there is a noise pollution, my dear friend. And because of the noise pollution, sometimes you find difficult to sleep, right? Difficult to focus on any activity because there is lots of noise happening. I remember in Bangalore. I remember that I was staying in a house in Bangalore, which is located very close to road, to a main highway. And when I was staying there, every time there are trucks and lots of trucks, tempos, even in the middle of the night, they used to go and such a high speed. And I could not sleep for a few days properly. So this is what happens when you stay in the center of the city. Okay, so just because it's the center of the city doesn't mean that that you will be able to sleep well. right? Sleeping well is very important. Eliminating the noise is very important, right? And what happens when you have lots of vehicles? Vehicles comes with what? Vehicles comes with lots of gases that vehicles emit, right? Petrol, diesel. So what happens to those gases? We inhale them, my dear friend. We inhale those gases because we are in the center of the city. We inhale those gases, and what those gases contains? Harmful carbon monoxide, right? Harmful gases, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide. This is what we are inhaling, my dear friend. Carbon dioxide. This all harmful gases we are inhaling just because we are staying in the center of the city, right? So what happens to the air quality index, AQI, my dear friend? AQI, the air quality index. The air quality index in those areas, if you measure the air quality index, we can find it out in Google, the air quality index. So every place has got a certain air quality index, AQI. And AQI of those places which are at the center of the city, hustling, bustling areas, these places, the AQI is very bad, my dear friend. So what happens here? So what happens? So what happens exactly is that the people, they suffer from lot of respiratory problems. Lot of respiratory issues happens in those places where if you stay in the center, if we stay in the center of the city, there's a chance that happening of issues such as bronchitis, asthma, right? All types of respiratory diseases happens, right? Because your lungs gets infected. Your lungs gets infected. Our lungs gets infected with all the things that we inhale, the sulfurs, the carbons that we inhale, right? That is one big issue, is your health, right? Second is your mind. For example, every time if there is a noise in front of me, can I stay calm? Can I stay cool? Right? I'm always stressed out. I see swarms of people on opening the doors and windows. What do I see? I see swarms of people moving, right? I see swarms of people moving. There's so many people, the army of people in front of me every day, every time, right? So what happens? Do I feel calm, relaxed, or do I feel tensed? I will feel tensed, right? I'll feel tensed in front of me. So there is a stress level that always is there. So due to this stress, there's a high blood pressure. There's the issue of cardiac problems, right? So these things are very important. High blood pressure, cardiac problems, and is what happening today. Center of the city. We are staying in the center of the city, and we are having these issues: high blood pressure and cardiac problems, right? Then what's happening? Staying closer to shopping malls. Staying closer to shopping mall, great idea. I am staying closer to a shopping mall. It's a standard, right? Social status. Is it so? Is it so? What's happening? What's happening is actually we giving our hard earned money. We are just spending every weekend. What happens? The tendency, we are not going any nice place. We are not going. We are just going to shopping malls every weekend. But Saturday and Sunday, shopping mall becomes a part of our lifestyle. It integrates into our lifestyle. It becomes our culture, right? So what happens if shopping mall becomes our culture, right? We go to shopping mall, we purchase items, and in the shopping mall prices are sometimes very expensive, right? For example, I purchased one very nice belt, okay, of a branded variety, and it cost me 2,000 bucks. Whereas if I go to another shop, a small shop, I can get that same belt in 300 to 400 rupees, my dear friend, right? At 300 400 bucks I get the same thing, right? So so do you mean I need to go to a shopping mall and spend so much money? Well, I don't well, it's a personal choice though, okay? But if you want to save money, right, if you want to probably you can think of investing that money somewhere else, right? Instead of becoming a consumer, becoming a fooled consumer, we can spend that money somewhere else, right? We can invest that money somewhere else, in fact, right? And if that money might reap a lot of benefits 10, 20 years down the line, right? So we have to think rationally, basically. So staying closer to shopping malls means you are going to spend a lot of money, right? So that is something that we need to avoid. And then what? Why? Then what is the solution? We need to stay. The solution is we need to stay closer to nature. And why should we stay closer to nature? Because it improves my moods, because it reduces my blood pressure, because it calms my mind. It gives a calming influence to the mind, right? It reduces my blood pressure. A study says 30 minutes we spent in nature reduces your blood pressure by 9%, my dear friend. 30 minutes in nature, blood pressure reduced by 9%. So you see how beautiful it is. Blood pressure getting reduced, right? Then cardiac problems are getting solved out. Calming influence on the mind. Mind is calm, body is fit, my dear friend. And when you are closer to nature, what happens? The endorphins gets released. What is endorphins? Endorphins are the chemicals. The when you do pleasurable activities like walking, for example, it's a pleasurable activity. Exercise, for example, is a pleasurable activity. Massage, for example, is a pleasurable activity. Any pleasurable activity that you do, okay, that gives you pleasure, the endorphins, the chemicals gets released. Social bonding, for example, talking to people in a social gathering, it also releases endorphins. And that's why it's very important to have a good social bonding. It's also important to talk to people often, right? That releases endorphins, my dear friend, and which helps in alleviating stress, right? Staying closer to nature improves social bonding, because things such as walking in the forest, things such as picnic, for example, so all this, and things such as hiking, for example, all this increases the social bonding, right? And staying closer to nature also improves the vitamin D content as well, my dear friend. How it improves vitamin D, right? What is vitamin D? Vitamin D is the sunshine vitamin. Is the vitamin that produces when we go to a sun. It's called calciferol, right? So it helps in boosting up the vitamin D levels. When I stand in the sun, when I spend some time in the sun, I get vitamin D in my body. And what this vitamin D does? It helps in boosting the immune system, right? And it helps in what? It helps in having strong bones, right? It helps in the proper bone development, right? Saves from the osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is degeneration of bones. It helps me from degenerating the bones. So that's why vitamin D is very essential, right? People staying inside the house, doing sedentary work, not going outside, not getting enough sunshine is very, very concerning. So it's always advisable to stay closer to nature, to go outdoors. The people who stay outdoors are the people who are most happier. So it's always beneficial to stay closer to nature, to go outdoors, because it helps in reducing the blood pressure, it helps in improving the moods, releasing the endorphins, reducing the stress level, also calms your mind, gives physical and proper physical mental development, and also aids in cognitive functioning, proper brain functioning, because when your mind is calm, right, and so you are able to concentrate better in any activities. We are able to concentrate well in any of the work that we do, and as a result, our productivity is also very high, right? So these are the benefits why we should stay closer to nature and why we should avoid staying at the center of the city, right? So I have no qualms against all of my friends who are staying in the center of the city. I wish them all the best, all the luck. But these are the facts, my dear friend, which remains the facts, and as a result of which, if you can stay closer to nature, okay, probably shift a little bit where there are open spaces, probably shift a little bit where you see some kind of greenery, probably stay closer to that place, and also try of course to see that other things are nearby. And if you find such a place, do consider to stay over there, right? This will help in proper health, proper development. Helps if you have a child, it helps in the proper development of that child as well, right? Proper mental, physical development, proper development of the child, improving the moods, and you stay happier than ever, my dear friend. So that's the point I would like to make, why we should stay closer to nature. uh, Keep watching Inspire to Live and inspire others to live a wonderful life. That's the mission of this channel. And do like, subscribe, and share with your friends as well. Thank you and see you again. And do let me know in comments How do you feel? And your thoughts about the nature, about staying closer to nature. Thank you and see you again.